Hey marketer, this is Philippe from Florida Costume Merch, talking to you today about the big news about Doge and government waste, and figuring out or finding out that some of our money has gone to some very dubious expenditures, spending, things that we not necessarily would have approved, and may not have voted some of those people in who actually use that money. Use our money, which is our tax money, to spend on some of this crazy stuff. So we're all aware that the government does, have a certain amount of waste, as any corporation also has, which is something that most corporations try to control as much as possible. We just knew that maybe there was some waste in government. We just didn't realize that some of it wasn't even necessarily a known waste or an awareness or accidental waste. It was actually very crafted waste to certain things that we would never agree on. So in light of that, we've decided to appoint or self-appoint ourselves as the Doge or the promotional products industry, costume branded merch, costume branded items, swag, whatever you want to call it. As ones that we've noticed also is kind of a similar pattern in this industry, or in the companies that decide that they're going to use costume branded merch for their marketing, for their trade shows, for their employee event, for any kind of event, and so on. As we speak to more and more companies, we've come to realize that many of them actually decide on someone in a company that's going to take care of the costume branded items, not always the marketing person, which is unusual and kind of strange. It should all be paired together with the marketing and the goals and so on, or maybe they have no goals, in which case it's even worse. So we've noticed that someone in a company gets a budget, whatever that budget is. It could be hundreds, could be thousands of dollars. And then they either have to spend that budget, and we've seen that in nonprofits, in schools, and so on. So they get again the money. They get to keep the money or use the money and have the money again next year. So they either have to spend that budget, or they know what the budget is and they go ahead and spend it on whatever. And we say whatever is because very often as we speak to these companies, how have they decided what they're going to use is very haphazard. Sometimes it's just feeling, sometimes it's just let's get it done with, sometimes it's let's go online, see what's available, and of course online is bottomless, and the suggestions you might get, even if you want to use some kind of a chat GPT system and ask chat GPT, what should I do for this event? It'll be very canned, very unspecial, and which unfortunately is not what you want to do. When it comes to costume branded merch, costume branded items, swag, there are really two things to consider, two very important things to consider. The top two. And the first one is be noticed. So in other words, the purpose of branded merch is to be noticed. And the second one, which is second but maybe should be first, is be remembered. The second one really pertains closer to the waste we've seen. So, so people print their company name on things, and yes, you do get noticed as you use those items, which is really one of the greatest purpose of costume branded merch is that you do get noticed. It's like a billboard, and be remembered is the billboard that never goes down, never wears out, keeps on giving, and unfortunately that's where most of the waste comes from, where companies decide that we're going to print on this and that, and they select something that sometimes not only doesn't even fit their marketing, what they're trying to accomplish, which is the be noticed part. And you're not going to get noticed if you're giving out to your audience something they would never even want to pick up from you or use as a gift, and just toss in the garbage. So you don't even get to the be remembered because you didn't do your homework on the get noticed. And that's, of course, that's where we come in, where we will listen to you. We know what's available. We've experienced the impact of some of the custom branded merch. We know what is going to make an impact for the market that you're trying, or the people you're trying to get notice from. The other aspects of it, again, is be remembered, and that's when it comes to a lot of time to quality, usefulness. And if you don't have those two, and I believe there's a third one, I can't think of it right now, I will tell you, but not as top level, but quality and usefulness are probably the top two. Quality meaning that if the item that you select is going to end up in the trash because it stops working, because it's too weak and it's going to break easily when you try to use it, or it just plainly looks cheap and nobody wants to have that on their desk, in their pocket, in their car. Who wants to look cheap? So quality is, of course, should be top of mind when selecting a custom branded item. What does that mean, quality? Well, call us and we'll talk to you all about the hundreds and hundreds of items out there that are just low quality and maybe inexpensive, but again, you get what you pay for. As far as the quality, also, then we have also the how is the item going to be used? So in other words, if you get a pen and the person you gave it to, and you bother to make sure your logo is printed properly, big enough, it can be seen, and so on. And again, we can talk about that because that's also one of the huge mistakes that people make. They go ahead and write a whole book on the side of a pen, and it's about 4-point size, and who cares what's on it because nobody can read it unless you're using a magnifier or a microscope. So you don't want to have to use a microscope. You don't want your customers to have to use a microscope to be able to read what's on your pen. But anyway, beyond that, as far as the quality, going back to the quality, we've used many pens or many other items that either just broke as we were using them, either right away sometimes, which is unbelievable, or they broke after maybe a few days, or if it was a pen, the spring inside the pen was not set up properly, too strong maybe, and as you try to write with it, after a few days, the whole top just springs off and flies into the air. And what do you think is going to happen to your message after that? And also the bad feelings the company may have about your brand. They're going to toss your brand in the garbage. It's actually what is happening. Your brand is being trashed. And what is one of the last things you want for your brand is to be trash. You certainly don't want that. And so how does it all pertain to Doge? Of course, let's go back to Doge, Elon Musk, and all the cuts and so on. Well, it's simple. What is Doge really is looking into what the government is doing, make sure that whatever budget, different budgets are available are spent in the proper way. And that's spent for the benefit of the people and for your company, for the benefit of your employees, your customers, and ultimately for the benefit of your company. And if it's not spent in that way, then you've just wasted company money in a way that the government wasted tax government money. You need to consider all aspects of what it means to get a custom branded item. I know it looks like a simple decision. You go online, you found a bag, you found a pen, you found this fancy item that you've never seen before because you stumbled upon it and you think, wow, this is new, and turns out it's not new, and that's probably why it's showing up on search engine because it's been probably keyworded, if that's even a word, so many times that it's not popping up on the first or second page of search. Nothing unusual about, and if that's what you wanted to do, give the unusual. Something that's really going to stand out. Something that's going to help you get noticed, something that's going to help you be remembered, something that nobody has given out, but you're going to give it out, and it's going to make a difference to your brand, a difference to your company, and it's going to mean something to the customer. You can't just give some fancy things that's going to be unusual and it means nothing to your customers, or again, it's trash. Call us, call the experts. I know you may think we need an expert to get custom branded items. Don't waste hundreds, thousands of dollars on custom branded items that are not going to do the job. Please let us help you. At least give us a call to answer questions. That doesn't cost you anything. It costs us time, which is, of course, important to us. But we love to help people. And most of the time, as we speak, you are likely to just want to go through our company to get your custom branded item because you'll have the confidence that it's going to work. You'll have the confidence that you have someone to go back to ask questions even during the event. Well, that can happen. You notice something unusual at the event. You notice that something is happening with the items that you had custom branded, and you want to ask us a question about it on how to just maybe best position it. Should it be on a table? Should it be in a box? Should it be handed out? What should we, and so on and so on. Please give us a call. We're here to help you succeed. If you succeed, we succeed. That's a belief we have. 386 400 2666. Again, this is Philippe from Florida Custom Merch. 386 400 2666. If you're afraid to call us, send us a message. Follow the link, go to the website, and send us a message from the website. Thank you for listening. Wishing you great success in all your marketing. And rather than waste your money on useless custom branded items and decide they don't work, well, please either call us or just don't do it. Don't buy any. Don't spend your budget on that. Okay? 386 400 2666. I will help you find success with custom branded merch. Be well. Thank you for listening to the podcast. There should be a button on this podcast where you can share your thoughts with us. We'd be happy to hear from you. And of course, we'll respond very quickly. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Success in all you do.